Alright, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. In this video, we are going to cover a new content, which is on content number 6 in our syllabus. And it is referring to chapter 14 in our textbook. And the topic for this chapter is on leadership. Excuse me. So, these are some of the learning objectives that we are going to accomplish by at the end of this chapter. Of course, we're going to explain in terms of what leadership is, and then the traits of the leadership, and then we are looking at different models of leadership. And then the next one, we are going to discuss on the transformational leadership and characterize the relationship between gender and leadership and explain how emotional intelligence may contribute to leadership effectiveness. And if you notice that this chapter is not being included in your final assessment or in your test, because for the content of this chapter, we are going to cover this and relate this to your individual assignment. So you need to be very, very clear in terms of the content that we are going to discuss together in this particular video, and then try to apply that accordingly to your requirements of your individual assignment. So this topic is very close to my heart because my PhD itself is focusing in the area of leadership. So when we talk about leadership, it is a process. Of course, it is a process. It is a process that involves at least two individuals, a leader as well as a follower. If the follower is not there, it is very difficult for us to measure the effectiveness of that particular leader. And for some people, they are measuring the effectiveness of a particular leader based on the performance of the employees. The better that the employees are performing, so we can conclude that perhaps it comes from good leadership, because the leadership is the process by which a person exerts influence over others. That person able to inspire others, motivates and directs their activities to achieve group or organizational goals. So even in this simple definition itself, we can simply identify that as a leader, you need to inspire, not only to give directions. For some people, when they have the power, when they have the position, they just simply assume that, yes, I can direct, I can give orders, I can give instruction. Yes, that's correct. But as a leader also, we need to understand there are other approaches that you as a leader must be able to exemplify to your followers. For example, sometimes you need to inspire. You need to do it first. Let them see that, oh, even my leader can do this. I also want to be like him. I also want to be like her. And then sometimes the leader also needs to motivate in the sense that give them encouragement, give them some sense of motivation or the drive in order for them to move to the next level. So if a leader only knows on how to direct, he or she is not a comprehensive type of a leader. Okay. And then a leader is an individual who is able to exert influence over other people to help achieve group or organizational goals. And then there are many different personal leadership styles that we are going to cover in this particular chapter. And personal leadership style are specific ways in which a manager chooses to influence others. For some people, they use their power. Sometimes when we need to move people, we use our power. We give them email, a formal letter. So that's how you influence others. By this year, you have to double your achievement. So whether we like it or not, in the following year, we have to double the effort, because otherwise, there might be some action to be taken against us. So that's influence you to work harder. But for some people, sometimes they influence others by giving them motivation. If you can do this better, if you can double your performance, we are going to double your bonuses. So that would motivate the employees. And then sometimes through inspiration, we give them example, we give them success stories of how this particular manager is able to go up the ladder because he or she is performing very well. So through these inspiring stories, we are also able to influence others. So it depends on the style of leadership that a person might want to apply in his or her leadership style. Shapes The personal leadership style would shape the way the manager approaches the other principal tasks of management. Baru cerita sampai sini dah 6 minit. A servant leader, a leader who has a strong desire, work for the benefits of others. Sometimes people recognize all SMEs leaders can be considered as a servant leader because sometimes they are working in order for the benefits of others. So this is a new form of leadership that has emerged in the past 10 or 15 years. And in terms of when we look at different cultures, they might tend to practice different style of leadership. This is because the culture govern in terms of the way we perceive things, in terms of the way that we say about something, the way that we assume about something, or the way that we act. So European managers tend to be more people oriented than American or Japanese managers because Japanese managers are more towards group oriented, and US managers, they tend to focus more on profitability because they are highly individualistic in terms of their cultural orientation. And then time horizons also affected by culture in terms of, yeah, which time horizons that you are. That also might differentiate in terms of one leadership across cultures. So when we talk about leadership, you need to understand about the power, because once you are going up the ladder, when you are being promoted to the higher level, you are going to be assigned with certain leadership roles in order for you to direct and motivate or inspire the members under your department. And once you are up there, you need to understand in terms of what sorts of power do you have, so that it would be more easier for you to influence others and to use the right power in order for you to exert influence among your employees. So we go one by one. The first one, legitimate power. This is the power that comes by your position, the authority that a manager has by virtue of his or her position in an organization. As a lecturer, I have a legitimate power over you in terms of asking you to submit your assignment in certain due dates and everything. So that is my legitimate power, and nobody else can question me in terms of when do I want to assign you with the respective assignments for the submission, because that is my authority. And then reward power, the ability of a manager to give or withhold tangible or intangible rewards. So when the manager has the power to reward employees, so we can say that he has the reward power. It can be in the form of tangible, monetary, something that you can see, prizes, for example, or it can be in the form of intangible rewards, recognition, awards, recognitions, for example. So that is considered as intangible rewards. And then coercive power is the ability for manager to punish others. Overuse of coercive power can even result in dangerous working conditions. Example include verbal reprimands, and then pay cuts and dismissal. So if you are using this excessively, sometimes this can result in an unhealthy working environment. So coercive power is the ability to punish employees. For example, if you have give them warning 3 times for their late arrival at work, so for the fourth time you are allowed to issue a show cause letter. That is your coercive power. And then expert power is the power that is based on special knowledge, skills, and expertise that you have, and then tend to be used in guiding or coaching manner. So sometimes people refer to you for guidance and everything because they know that you have a special knowledge or knowledge in that particular area. And referent power, power that comes from the subordinates and co-workers' respect, admiration, and loyalty, possessed by managers who are likable and whom subordinates wish to use as a role model. Many politicians, they have good reference power. That is why sometimes it is very difficult for us to comprehend why certain group of people, they are rooting and pursuing and supporting a certain politician, because they believe, because that politician to them has a good reference power, and they admire them and they respect them and they are loyal to them. So some managers, they might have this type of reference power, and we as a potential leader also, we need to develop, we can develop our expert power, we can develop our knowledge expert power, but the power in terms of cohesive and then reward, as well as cohesive and legitimate power that come with your position. Okay, we can look at the difference between these sources of power. Some of this power, they might come with your position, some but reference power and expert power, even you don't have the position, sometimes you can become the point of reference among your colleagues, in order for them to ask for your opinion, because they admire you, because they respect the knowledge that you have. When we talk about leadership as well, we need to talk about empowerment, because once you appoint someone as a leader, you need to empower this person, certain authority, in order for them to make decisions. And as a leader, sometimes you need also to empower your employees, so that they have the authority to make decisions, and be responsible for the outcomes, improve quality, and also to cut costs. Okay, the next one. This is one of the area for your group project, the content for your individual assignment. So we will look first into the trait and behavioral models of leadership, because we understand that there are different models of leadership, that sometimes changes based on uh, the different in times that we are going through, different phases. Since 1950s, the focus is a little bit different than what we are having at this moment. So we look at the first leadership models, the trait model. The trait model focus on identifying personal characteristics that produce effective leadership. Some personal characteristics, not personality traits per se, but rather concerned with leaders' skills, abilities, knowledge, and expertise. For example, some leaders, good leaders, they might have some of these traits. They have a good high level of intelligence. They have a good knowledge and expertise. They are very dominant. They help to influence their subordinates to achieve the goals, and they have a high self-confidence at times when others do not believe that they are able to do it. But this leader, he has a huge, no, he has a high level of self-confidence. And then they are very energetic. And then they are tolerant for stress. When we look at different types of leaders, their ability to handle the stress is much higher than the average people. And then they quite calm in the midst of issues and crises, kan, because they have a high level of tolerance for stress. And then integrity, in terms of, they have a high level of integrity and honesty. In terms of their work ethics is better, in terms of their work attitude is also better, well better than the rest, and that's why they are being appointed as a leader. And then they have a good level of maturity, which would help the managers to avoid acting selfishly, control their feelings, and admit when they have made a mistake. So when you look at these traits model, so what we can do is that you can look at some of these traits and try to relate these traits against your appointed leader of chosen leader for your assignment, and identify, maybe you can pick several of these traits and give examples. That would be better, and that would exemplify the important traits that you might observe in your chosen leader. So we will stop here first, and we will continue in the next video. Assalamu alaikum.